Okay, so now that we've gone through all the different type of Voltron commanders that come to my mind, we are gonna head back into the basically the whole point of Voltron, right? Tossing a bunch of artifact equipments and or auras onto your commander to swing in for the win. The base thing to remember though is that equipments being artifacts, they're more prone to removal. It's mostly also just a meta thing, but it's good to keep in mind. You know, anything is like open to removal, but enchantments usually are more resilient against removal. Although when it comes to creature removal, the aura will fall off, meanwhile the equipment stays there. So that's something important to remember. You don't necessarily have to go with only artifact equipments or only auras for a strategy. You can have a mix of both. One good example will be with Sigarda, because she has natural hexproof, and to a certain extent, like, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, her being removed in response to equipment, the equip effect, or like an aura being tossed on her. You can play like a bit of both. But for her, I would also avoid things that give her protection for a specific color, because like if you play swords on Sigarda, then there will be certain auras you do not have access to, right? So for the auras, I would go with like creature protection. Protection from creatures, things like indestructibility, totem armor. So those will be more on the aura side. Or if it gives like sort of a power boost, you want to also have like lifelink and trample. So with like armadillo cloak and unflinching courage. And then for equipments, you would generally just give the same type of effects, right? You either want to have a huge boost in power, you want to give trample, you want to give lifelink, you want to give indestructible. For me, I generally like to run a minimum of 8, if not up to 12 support cards for the Voltrons. So basically 8 to 12 equipments and or auras. This is a good number because it gives you enough consistency into drawing into them, and at the same time it allows you to stack them on top of each other while not feeling like the deck is overly clunky with only equipments and only auras, because that's not what you want to do. If you're running tutors, anywhere from maybe 1 to maximum of 3 would be good. There's a lot of argument in terms of saying to be more competitive you have to run more tutors, but personally I found that in a lot of situations I didn't want that many tutors and I just wanted actual card draw or the actual effects, because you're still spending the mana for the tutor replacement effect. And once again, being low to the ground and being an aggressive deck, you want to go as fast as possible. Meanwhile, tutors used by more control-y type builds, control decks, or combo decks, they use it to get key pieces to either finish the game or to reset the board. But that usually would not be the case for us Voltron players, because we would be getting situational pieces to allow our commander to get past to get that 21 damage, either in one shot or a few combat steps. Also, when it comes to the general CMC that I would recommend, the high CMC I would run for equipments usually would be around 3 CMC, because you still need to pay mana cost to equip it afterwards. And then if you're playing like the Swords series, you need about 5 mana if you want to play and equip it at the same time. And then when it comes to auras, I have the same sort of idea, right? Like the same thought process, whereby it's 5 CMC or below. So if it's 4 or 5 CMC, it really has to do a lot, because Magic has come a really long way and there's a lot of very good, auras and equipments from 1 CMC, 2 CMC, 3 CMC, and being at 4 and at 5 is just way too much. And 6 is pretty much just impossible in my opinion, unless it wins you the game. Remember that most of the Voltron commanders I've recommended are in the 4 and 5 CMC slots. So after you cast your commander, let's say it's turn 6 and you have 6 mana, you can play any like equipment, and or you could play like multiple like small CMC auras onto the commander for your first swing and to create the biggest impact, or rather the first damaging blow, and more to come.